Okay, moving on to skill number 3. Skill number 3, we're going to look at a teddy bear roll. For a teddy bear roll, you have to maintain 3 triangle shapes. And you also need to focus on your extension, keeping your arms nice and straight and your legs as straight as you possibly can also. So for this one, you're going to take a seat. I'm going to start with a back support. With a back support, you're placing your hands behind you, your toes pointing away from you, and you're going to lift your hips to get your back nice and straight. From the side, it should look like this. So hips up to the sky, back nice and straight. No saggy bottoms. And try and keep yourself long and thin like an ironing board, and make sure you can hold that shape for 3 potatoes. From there, you're going to split your legs apart. So front on, split your legs apart, and take your hands and place them as low down your legs as you can. You will now see 3 triangles. 1 triangle on the floor, 1 triangle in between this arm, and 1 triangle in between this arm. Like a teddy bear, you have to maintain that shape the whole time. From here, you are going to fall onto one of your shoulders. This is very important. Those people that fall onto their back, they get stuck and they look like a dying fly. We've got to fall onto our shoulder. We go shoulder, back, shoulder, and we should hit the teddy bear roll position again, facing the opposite direction. Focus on keeping your legs straight, focus on keeping your arms straight. Shoulder back, shoulder round and sit up. If you do it effectively, you should turn 180 degrees. Shoulder back, shoulder round, sit up, turn 180 degrees. Okay, excellence value. Keep those legs nice and straight, keep those arms nice and straight. Remember to fall onto your shoulder first. After you start and finish each teddy bear roll, I would like to see a back support that you're holding for 3 potatoes. Press pause, give yourself 3 or 4 minutes to practice. Okay, moving on to skill number 4. As you can probably see, the complexity of these rolls is getting more and more difficult as we're moving through. This one, some of you might find a little bit more tricky. We're now going to look at a forward roll. Our forward roll is broken down into 6 stages. The easiest way to do this is to count along as you go through. I'm going to show you the 6 stages. I'm also going to show you a balance that you could do that links to a forward roll, and the balance that you could do at the end of your forward roll, depending on which position you finish in. Okay, to start, you need to hit phase number 1. So phase number 1, you need to stretch up to the sky, long and thin like a pencil. Phase number 2, you're going to drop down into a tuck position, placing your hands out in front of you, keeping your legs nice and close together. Phase number 3, you're going to drop your hands to the floor and start feeling the weight on your hands. And phase number 4, you're going to tuck your head in nice and close to your knees and keeping your chin tucked into your chest. Phase number 5, probably the most difficult phase, you're going to take your weight onto your hands, you're going to poke your head down and underneath your feet, and you're going to lift your bottom up and over your head. So it's poke and push and roll out the other side. Okay? Now for some of you, you might find that fairly easy. So if you find it easy, you want to see if you can roll and stand back up on the other side. We say like Buzz Lightyear, you've got to try and reach to the sky. So watch it out all the way through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, reach for the sky and stand back up on the other side. Okay, now depending on which position you start and finish in, depends on which balance you could link to this. So I'm going to show you the easy version first. Easy version, we could start with a standing stalk, so hands out to the side, up and leg up there to balance. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato. From there we can complete our forward roll, but finish it in on our bottom, and quite easily we can go from there into our back support. For those that find it a little bit too easy, we can make it a little bit more difficult. So again, starting from our standing stalk, 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato. Complete your forward roll with your reach to the sky and see if you can turn it into an arabesque. Another progression for this one, you can always start from a straddle position, and for those that find that easy, you can always try and finish in a straddle position also. Remember, if you do that, you've got to think about which balances you could do that will link either side. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 or 4 minutes with this one. Press pause, give it a practice, see how you get on. Okay, moving on to skill number 5. We're now looking at backwards rolls. This is the one that we always seem to find a little bit more tricky than most. For this one, you've got to use your hands to support you. As you roll backwards, your head tends to get in the way, so you've got to use those hands to lift your head out the way. Okay? Similar to a forward roll, This has stages. If you follow these stages, you're going to give yourself a chance to do this. You might also need to show your resilience value here, because this one is not easy. We don't get it straight away. Keep working at it, keep persisting. I'm sure you'll get better. So for this one, we're going to start from number 1 again, very similar to a forward roll. We're going to bring ourselves down to number 2 position, the same as a forward roll. However, for number 3, our hands now bend, and we want our fingers pushing up to the sky, like we're in a restaurant carrying pizzas. Okay? Now a bit later on, we're going to have a pizza party. So we're going to get these pizzas and we're going to smush them into the floor, and we're going to push our feet over our head. But before we do that, it's very important that we still do step number 4, taking our head down towards our knees to create that ball shape. So I'm here in this position, head down towards my knees. From here, I have to stay compact. I'm going to roll backwards, and as I roll backwards, my pizzas are going to smush against the floor. They're going to smush and push like we're having a pizza party, and my legs are going to kick back over my head. I want my feet to point up and look like they're going up over the trees behind me. So all the way through. 1, 2, pizzas ready, head tucked in. Number 5, we're going to roll, smush and push, and finish over on the other side. Okay? Now we need to think about which balances we could do either side of that. So for this one, we're just going to go over straight like this. You can change your hands positions. You can stick a leg out if you want to, depending on how you want to challenge yourself. You're then going to go into your backward roll position, head tucked in, roll, hands, smush, push, up and over the other side. And from there, again, selecting a balance, choosing a balance that we can try and perform from a standing position. Okay, this one is more difficult. This one you will find more challenging. Focus on keeping your head tucked in. Focus on those hands smushing and pushing. And try and get that bottom and them legs up over your head as you roll out the other side. All right, 3 or 4 minutes. Give it a practice. See how you get on. Okay, moving on to skill number 6. For skill number 6, we're going to look at a cartwheel. Now again, as you can see, the skills are getting more and more difficult as we move through. Cartwheels, you're all going to be at different levels and different stages. So I'm going to show you how to do a full cartwheel first, and then I'll try and show you a few little progressions you can do to help yourself get up to that full cartwheel. Okay, for a full cartwheel, you should have your strongest leg pointing forward, and your strongest hand also pointing towards the way you want to go. Your weakest hand pointing up to the sky. From there, you're going to tip yourself backwards a little bit and raise this leg up to the floor, up off the floor, ready to stomp it back down. So we're really going to step into a cartwheel to try and generate some power. As we step, we're then going to go hand, hand. So strong hand, weak hand. We're going to kick our legs up and over our head and try and finish in the same position, but on the opposite side. So watching all the way through. Strong foot facing forward, strong hand facing forward, weak hand up to the sky. We're going to raise, stomp, hand, hand, foot, foot, and finish back in the position that we started. Okay, watching that one more time. Strong foot facing forward, strong hand facing forward, weaker hand up to the sky. Raise that front foot, stomp, hand, hand, foot, foot, and finish in the position that we started. Now some of you might find that a little bit difficult. If you are finding it fairly easy, please focus on our rainbow legs, keeping our legs nice and straight and our toes nice and pointy. To help you with that, imagine you're dipping your toes into some paint and you want to paint the ceiling or paint the sky with a straight rainbow. You're not trying to paint the walls around the front, you're trying to paint them over the top. For those that are finding it more difficult, there are some progressions for you. There's ways of building up to a cartwheel, okay? So you might want to get a pen and you might want to put different numbers on your hands and your feet. So number 1 on this foot, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And you're going to get used to going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So getting used to that motion of hand, hand, foot, foot. Hand, hand, foot, foot. Okay? Now with a cartwheel, we should feel like we're making a circular motion. For those that find that a little bit easier, and you can do that one, we're then looking to try and kick your legs over a little bit higher. So we're getting our body to the side a little bit, and we're going to go hand, hand, but with our legs making a scissors action, 1 then 2 over to the other side. So you can do this in slow motion. Hand down, 1 then 2, and finish on the other side. Once you're comfortable taking your body weight off your feet and onto your hands, you're then ready to start moving into your full cartwheel. Now this is more tricky. You have got to be able to support your body weight. So looking at other components of fitness now, you might need a little bit of core strength. You might need to be able to hold your own body. Okay, press pause. Spend the next 3 or 4 minutes seeing if you can practice a cartwheel. Okay, skill number 7. Skill number 7, we're going to look at a round-off. Now, a round-off starts very similar to a cartwheel, but we have to do something special with our hands now. Usually when we place our cartwheel hands down, we have one hand to the side and the other hand follows it sideways on. Okay? For a round-off, we're still going to place our first hand down to the side, but our second hand needs to twist over into this position here. Similar with our legs, instead of going one leg and then the other leg, as our leg goes up, our other leg comes to join it, and there's a slight twist in our body, and from there we want to create a pole vault action where we push using our arms and bend using our hips and our feet, and we finish landing on 2 feet with a little rebound afterwards. Okay? I'll try and demonstrate one to you all the way through, and then you guys are going to give this a go. This is more tricky. As you can see, the levels get a little bit harder as we move through. So starting from this position, similar to a cartwheel, strong hand forward, strong foot forward, weak hand up to the sky. Remember, this weak hand is going to twist. So if you want to here, you could already put those hands in that position so you're ready for where you're going to go next. Okay, so it's here. We're going to step into it. You need some power and momentum for this one. So step, hand, push with a little rebound on the other side. Okay, I'll try and show you that from a different angle just so you can see the arch shape that we make like our pole vault. So one hand forward, one foot forward, one hand up. We're going to step, push with a little rebound on the other side. Okay, now these are more tricky. I know we started very simply with a pencil roll, and now we're moving on to some quite complex skills. We constantly are talking to you about your values. You're not going to get better at anything unless you work at it. So start simple, build your way up, see how far you can get. Remember, we're also looking for your excellence value. So for those of you who can do it well, can you show us this little rebound at the end? Ready to move into a new balance or a new pose. Okay? But at this stage, you guys can start to be creative with your balances. Looking at balances that you can perform while standing up. Obviously, if I was doing a round off, it's going to be very difficult to get from a knee position or a belly position or a bottom position and into a round off. So we're looking at balances that you can perform from a standing up position, things that you can try and link into your round off. Okay, give it a practice, 3 or 4 minutes today, see how you get on.